That the Earth does not rest upon the back of 3 whales is not the heart of existence. Long ago, people discovered the truth. They aimed not just to gaze through a telescope, but also to explore celestial bodies situated fairly near to our planet. Pretty natural. What's the first cosmic body which was first explored by representatives of humanity? Our neighbor, the Moon, transformed Earth's natural satellite. But after the legendary outing, practically all crewed programs were ended. So now we need to get by with simple tools. They're the ones who keep visiting orbits, planets in our solar system, and even rests on their surface. Enjoy at least 4 cups of Chinese tea with the Yichu to lunar rover riding around on the Moon, or the perspiration currently resting on Mars beneath the stars and stripes of the United States, or American Curiosity ventured onto the red planet. We can't help but think of the Voyager 2, departed the solar system, and now soaring off into the vastness of deep space. Scientists also paid attention to the foggy Venus, sibling of the planet, which in ancient times was thought to be the heart of the celestial garden, concealed by a thick layer of clouds. What are the current concepts? Earthlings discussing this enigmatic planet. To the scary truth. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Probes have been heading to Venus since 1962. Mariner 2 was the trailblazer in this regard. Exactly. Thanks to his gadgets, people on Earth were convinced for the first time in AO that the atmosphere of the planet is really suffocating. Then there was the Venus for umbrella. Never touched down on the surface of the object. When landing the AMS at 28 kilometers altitude, it was crushed by an enormous pressure of 90 atmosphere, which is nearly 100 times greater than the Earth's indicator. Similar values can be found on Earth, only on the 900-meter ocean depth. After that, more than 24 probes studied Venus. Some intentionally, others while passing by. But considering the information we've received, among everyday folks, a clear picture of the planet has emerged, wrapped in clouds, as a really unwelcoming spot. Japanese Akatsuki spacecraft, or Akatsuki, kicked off in May 2010, also couldn't persuade the people of Earth. What did this space station spot on Venus? Let's talk about the Akatsuki zombie for a moment. This is 640 kilograms of samurai bravery, packed with nutritious ingredients, except maybe the katana. It's pretty much a little box, sizes 1 by 1, 4 by 1, and 4 meters. Draped in solar panels, the umbrella comes with ultraviolet and long-wave features, 71, along with a lightning detector. Utilizing hardware devices, several scientific experiments are planned. Especially, Akatsuki needs to look into the makeup of the clouds on Venus, and also check the temperature of various layers of the atmosphere. The device will watch the sunrises and sunsets on Venus. You might catch a few lightning bolts, and if luck's on your side, we'll discover active volcanoes. The plans are definitely grand like Napoleon's. But where did it all begin? Since the moment it launched, a project by engineers from Japan, looked like the script of the movie 33 Misfortune. It all kicked off with a delay in the launch, which was scheduled for May 17th, took place on the 21st. Pleases, the device has finally departed from the Tanegashima spaceport. Otherwise, to the staff of the Japanese agency, jocks would need to go all in on a group harakiri. Then everything went sideways again. Akatsuki has successfully arrived at Venus, but at this point, luck had abandoned the umbrella once more. On the evening of December 6, 2010, they had a plan to maneuver the device into orbit, which flopped badly, which was revealed to the world 2 days later. What held up the probe? The connection was first thought of, that Venus's shadow blocked this, but then they decided the version was too absurd to keep. If only that were the case, then the break would last no longer than 20 minutes. Reasons: failures to reach the planet's orbit also discovered. Failed but anticipated. That the fuel valve is responsible, out of service at an inconvenient time, and causing the engine to shut down unexpectedly, so to speak. In 2015, the gadget having orbited the Sun, tried to sync up with the rotation once more. Venus, everything went smoothly this time. From April 4th to April 8th, the umbrella began sending photos. Hazy charm. The first photo was taken in the infrared range. That's why the photo comes across as negative. In the picture, you can easily see the arched clouds of Venus, occasionally drizzling gray rain. It looks like everything went as planned once more. But back in 2016, the infamous Japanese god has stepped in once more during the mission and messed everything up. Once cameras, Air 1 and Air 2 began to use up unmotivated massive energy. Agency staff attempted to resolve the issue from a distance, but it was all in vain. So, they had to turn off the cameras. Luckily, the other three are still functioning just fine. In JAGSO, they think the breakdown happened because of intense cosmic radiation, broken equipment, but they also discovered other equipment in the same tough circumstances, so it's doable. The units that are about to fail next are as follows. Even with the schemes of fate, the mission goes on. Images of the lovely, even though the harsh planets are nice to look at. Here's a picture for reference, where the scorching heat is clearly visible, released by the scorching surface of Venus. Turbulence on this celestial body happens quite often, especially when you think about the 350-kilometer cloud layer, representing a worldwide hurricane of massive proportions, with winds reaching 100 to 140 meters per second. There's a photo too, Venus's equator, gained on the 13th revolution of the zone. A sense of calm prevails at the south pole of the planet, in comparison to the chaos of other cloud locations. I saw the Ames and a massive atmospheric wave, slow-mo, that looks the same from a distance. Its length is 10,000 kilometers, and it gradually shifts from one pole to the other. Japanese planetologists think that the strange phenomenon is due to the force of gravity. During the time Katsuki's umbrella surrounded Venus, which, by the way, means morning dawn, came closest to the planet at a distance of 4,000 kilometers and moved away by 370,000. This is the device's elliptical path. What else will Ames discover beyond the cloudy veil of Venus? How many lightning bolts will it capture, and will it be able to detect powerful volcanoes? Unknown, but potentially lethal. Cosmic rays aren't going to take down little Akatsuki. Then he will share much more about the mysteries of the desert Venus. The universe is packed with mysteries that can be pretty frightening phenomena, but among them, the top spot is rightly held by the object that you can't even see. This creature can boldly consume massive stars and whole galaxies, grow larger and stronger. We're chatting about black holes, never-ending funnels, residing in the chilly and shadowy corners of space. But if they're totally invisible, even with the strongest telescope, how can we see them? Astronomers have discovered a way forward. They've figured out how to spot a deadly trap when they see one. Through indirect methods. The deal is, black holes have a great appetite. When they have a star next to them, or world, they slowly start to take away her essence, pulling him into their nightmarish jaws. This amazing process is what produces the universal magnet. About a believable visualization, a lot of observatories across the globe have been studying black holes. But actually, up until April 2019, no one had really spotted their true likeness. Something like this became achievable after the beginning of a worldwide initiative named Event Horizon Telescope, or Event Horizon Telescope. It's a system of virtual telescopes, the dimensions of the Earth, designed specifically for watching the area around you. Black holes following that. As the world witnessed, first image of an accretion disk in the galaxy M87. There was a mind-blowing experience. Photo of a supermassive funnel resembling to drops of water. It seemed like something straight out of a sci-fi film. Interstellar. This will definitely make you rethink science fiction. Also, the mysterious object showed Earthlings are more than just a fiery spiral, but also an incredibly powerful jet, gushing from the depths of the creature. The level of the emission is really astonishing. A few kiloparsecs. Oh, by the way, one jet vector is aimed nearly at us. The deviation is just 17 degrees. Photo. The planet experienced another dark chapter after 5 months. After the event in question, by the end of September that same year, material supplied by NASA was completely different from the one before. The picture displays a significant distortion of the outline. Black hole created by gravitational lensing. Its border as seen by someone from the outside look like a crescent moon, and the same effect is seen on both sides. But people tend to lean towards visual examples. So let's picture this. What an astronaut will appear like right in front of you, getting pulled into a black hole. Let's be honest right from the start. This definitely doesn't seem like something that happened out of the blue. Into the water, no surprise. After all, the cosmic funnel operates under different rules. Let's use Alice as an example, who, while chasing a rabbit, carelessly tumbled into the darkness, an almost infinite tunnel. Who knows, maybe it was Lewis Carroll, having exceptional math skills. In this way, he concealed exactly the endless. Imagine a black hole. The white rabbit chose to go ahead, even with the hurry. Watch silly Alice getting close to a dangerous move. At the beginning, everything will proceed as normal. Girl gaining speed will soar to his own demise. But even stranger events will unfold further. As we get closer to the mysterious wormhole, that's the event horizon. The rabbit envisions that he gazes at Alice through a giant magnifying glass. The girl will grow a lot taller. This is how lining and the spaghetti process show up. Soon, the unimaginable will start. The nearer Alice approaches the edge of the black hole, especially from the perspective of a sharp-eared observer, its speed will decrease. How to alert the unfortunate about danger? Let's consider it. What would you do here on Earth? They'd likely yell at the top of their lungs, trying to grab some attention. You know, this just won't cut it in space. Sound doesn't travel through the battery. All that's left to do is send signals to pocket flashlight or iPhone with Morse code, but you won't make it here either. Because light will eventually move into the long wave range, so the signal will kind of fade away gradually. The mountain echo and the warning are pretty much pointless, since not a single object can't break free from the overwhelming pull. Black hole, if of course. This isn't a ship, it's the epic Star Trek. Let's return to the video. He's definitely going to be hit with a wave of wild panic when he sees Alice, halted as if on hold, at the brink of an invisible beast. But it's not the girl's obvious daze that will bring about fear, and the fact that she is being gradually and painfully harmed. Strange space expansion. Weird time stretching and burning up. Hucking radiation warmth. Soon from the unfortunate adventurer, just a few ashes will be left behind, and all of this near the event horizon. Where can such a nightmare still happen? It's time to wrap up the story. Isn't it similar with death? The main character's story becomes less significant, no matter how hard Game of Thrones tries to convince us otherwise. But no, the show has to continue. Just now, the situation gets even more surprising. Let's picture what we talked about earlier, the image from Alice's own perspective. You might be surprised, but she'd be okay. The girl feels completely at ease, because it moves in a state of free fall. It remains steady despite turbulence. She doesn't feel time stretching out like chewing gum, and the intense radiation of the black hole. Also, for Alice, there isn't an event horizon. After all, this isn't a solid wall that you might hurt yourself on. The conditional edge is visible only to the observing rabbit. But this isn't the end. We have an appetizer available. You a killer brain exercise, drawing from the principles of quantum physics. From the time when the rabbit has tears in his crimson eyes, gaze at the ashes left behind by Alice. The girl divided into two. The first one actually passed away, and if there's a chance to send her ashes to her family, so the rabbit can handle it. So where's the clone going to come from? You know, everything is both simple and complicated at the same time. The situation will rely on two fundamental laws. The first one mentions that Alice's body should stay right at the boundary of the event horizon, and pass away there. Since there's no information on anything, cannot be lost forever, but the second law will let the clone survive. Because, as stated in the general theory of relativity, Alice needs to get past the event horizon without running into any obstacle. What will she see at that point? Probably pitch black. And maybe there will be a way to escape this deadly trap. Like a white hole. Imaginary item, the opposite of black tubes, acting as a way out for them. Completely baffled, then to make matters even better, the principles of quantum mechanics come into effect, completely banning the duplication of information. So, Alice has to be inside at the same time, and outside the opening. But how is this even possible, you know? Because even with that kind of result, the laws of physics won't be broken, since the third observer, Cheshire Cat or Mad Hatter, who would be able to see both Alices at the same time, doesn't exist. And actually, there isn't a clear-cut reality either. Instead, it's determined by the observer themselves. Life is just a collection of experiences, spreading happiness, sorrow, joy, and letdown. She spins in a lively, colorful round dance, captivating and enthusiastic, but above all of us, even during our happiest moment, crushes the sword hanging over him, reminding us that the world we know will eventually come to an end. Chatting about various types of apocalypses, not often referred to that way. Let's talk about that now. There's no way to get away from it on other planets. So may Ellen forgive us. Cloning Mars in the future isn't just expensive, but also a pointless event. Talking about the end of the world, that's why scientists don't specifically focus on the Earth. Their grim forecasts reach out to the universe. Overall, we'll do our best to clarify what's in store for her. Let's begin from a distance. In the vast universe, there are countless beings. Stars carefully burning hydrogen, quiet asteroids, rocky gas worlds, and hopeful adventurers. Comets. But there's a unique group of untouchables in the universe. Black holes are basically supermassive stars that have died, trapped in the web of their own pull. After the fall, a dense body in the literal sense drops into a spatial funnel and turns really risky. Hidden spot, drawing everything and everyone in towards itself. Let's shift our focus to comparison. Imagine you're strolling through the forest and suddenly you tumble into a wolf, skillfully hidden beneath a heap of fallen leaves and new moss. If you decide not to get pierced, a pointed stick resting on the ground, then there's definitely a chance to escape the trap. A black hole doesn't offer that kind of opportunity. And that's what really matters. What you should know about her. She holds on tightly to her deadly, hugs even beams of light and bits of information. Being careless, soar right into the jaws of a never-satisfied beast. It's true that the second statement was challenged by one of the greatest science communicators, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking. Just before passing away, he discovered that black holes not only take in, but also spread a bit to the outside. This particular fact served as the basis for the theory of instant destruction. The world vanishes without a sign, as we understand it. So what exactly are black holes? Upon further examination, these are unseen objects, spinning really quickly, that curve the space around them. They can roam in any direction, at amazing speeds. If there were such a hole on the moon, then it would hit the ground in just a few minutes and come together in groups. But the key thing, they're always feeling this intense hunger. Their food is any item, really close to the event horizon. The throat of a black hole. They eat with a big appetite. Our sun would vanish into their embrace after 2 days. If you're munching on a hamburger right now, put it down. After all, it's common knowledge what occurs when you go overboard with rich food. Obesity poses a risk to a black hole. Uncontrolled bulimia results in a rise in their weight, eventually hitting around 1 billion solar. But among these odd objects, there are also some black ones. DREGISTROFIKI, destined for a swift demise. Low-mass black holes slowly release information, other particles, built up over a lifetime. As a result, it keeps getting smaller and smaller. That is, if they evaporate after 1 million centuries. Then, to put it figuratively, a ball that you tossed into the endless funnel will show up again, truth as a messy jumble of atoms, having lost all practical worth forever. It's no surprise what's really going on with these. Theories are linked to enigmatic objects about the impending end of the universe. But let's take a break from black holes for a moment, and let's return to the possible doomsday scenario. Hadron Collider. For a long time, the uninformed have been scaring other uninformed citizens. Finally completed part of his mission, and the outcomes didn't satisfy humanity. They figured out the mass of the Higgs particle, which ended up being a bit bigger than anticipated. This led to some sad thoughts. A lot of people will say, where's the tragedy in this? To put it simply, then the Higgs boson is one of the fundamental particles of the universe. We create them using vacuum quantum fields. It's this ongoing process that keeps everything at its best. Conversation of reality from devastation and manages how our world works. For the time being, all quantum fields come in a state of relative stability, except for the Higgs field. It's responsible for basic interaction, particles and their weight, but as the studies indicate, conducted tank hasn't found harmony yet. Higgs field is now in the middle stage. Energy state. This is really unfortunate news. Means it will work hard to get back to its original state. And once the particle hits the target, the world around us will fall apart overnight. A lot of people will say, where's the tragedy in this? After all, it's a piece of God, as some drama seekers like to call it. For many, it will just be a heap. Formulas written down, but it's not as easy as that. You know what? What exactly is the Higgs boson? Is it just a thread? The threads that make up the very fabric of our universe. Sure, there are plenty of other basic particles out there, but they've already carved out a spot for themselves in this reality and discovered their equilibrium. A poly Higgs just can't seem to find that balance, is experiencing instability, where the flutter of a butterfly's wing is enough for a hurricane to form that will not just wipe out the entire world, but will change it entirely. Strange to our understanding. You might be wondering what black holes have to do with that. They're going to play first violin in this take on the end of the world. Imagine that boson Higgs got trapped in a hole between two hills. In that situation, he has two choices: or leap over the mountain, or go through it. After digging a tunnel, wavy, the characteristics of quantum fields enable the manifestation of latest plan. But the problem is, what can you tell me about the properties of boson Higgs? The existing model of the universe was developed, and the tiniest, the changes will result in an irreversible disaster. What comes next from this? Large Hadron. The collider really opened humanity's eyes about astronomical realities. We're living in a false vacuum, and as soon as boson Higgs transforms into its real form, everything will change for good. Black holes will be the center of destructive transformation, just not gigantic, and their tiny, evaporating counterparts that were mentioned earlier. It was once thought, what's tunneling? Leading to vacuum decay. It depends on how thick the wall is, distinguishing the false vacuum from the true vacuum. Based on the calculations, this won't happen anytime soon. Then the universe will face its heat death. But the most recent data indicates that what's black holes can really speed up the tunneling process. Low mass gravitational anomaly. The temperature increases dramatically, which increases several times. Probability breakthrough of the Higgs field into the realm of true vacuum. So probably, once in one of the small, a bubble containing matter with a black hole will emerge with entirely different characteristics than stuff from which our universe is formed. This area is going to grow at lightning speed, slowly occupying the expanse of the universe, making it the right one. From the perspective of quantum physics location, the domino effect will wipe out everything in the blink of an eye. What we're accustomed to, and instead of the current macrocosmos, a whole new world that feels totally foreign to us, where atoms will come together to form different structures, and more will take place. Hard to understand phenomena. Comforts one moment. When is this going to happen? We probably won't even notice. The collapse will occur in billions of a second. I bet some of you are having a thought right now. What are we going to do with this information? In summary, here's what we've discussed and observed. That human civilization has limited option. If the vacuum around the Earth is real, so there's really no need to worry. And if it's not true, then in the lineup of events, guessing when the world will end, vacuum decay will be at the forefront. And we'll just have to accept this idea. What are your thoughts on that? So that it's not just in the Game of Thrones, but also in everyday life. Ancient life forms, as time passed, they found the strength to rise once more. Regrettably, we do not provide that option. Immerse yourself in the flames and ignite the passion within. Dragon eggs in the sacred flames. On the other hand, let us now delve into the fascinating world of deep freezing, following which, as the evidence from recent decades reveals, vital essence, capable of thriving and operating effectively. Let us embark on our journey with the language of understanding. Cryonics, technology for safeguarding the essence of living organisms through profound cooling following the beginning. Biological cessation. Until a specific moment, many viewed such exploration into falsehoods as a pursuit of science, denounced them while affirming that after defrosting living beings, revival becomes an unattainable dream. Yet again, the Japanese surged ahead of everyone from the very beginning, placing the skeptic in checkmate. 33 years ago in the year 1983, the dedicated employees of the National Tokyo Institute of Polar Research touched down in Antarctica, where in a tiny patch of moss, 2 water bears were discovered. Commonly referred to as tardigrades, scientists made the bold choice to freeze microorganisms. At the heart of revelation, at Chu Station, the chamber's temperature was adjusted to -20 degrees Celsius and left the tardigrades in a remarkable state of suspended animation for over 3 decades. After a while, the Japanese made their return, liberated the captives, and a wondrous miracle unfolded. Tardigrade awakened with vibrant energy. 1 bear resided in the chamber. Regrettably, he has passed away. Here's a lovely female who has warmed up and laid 19 eggs, of which 14 were discovered to be viable. This remarkable extremophile emerged as the first creature, having triumphed over such a prolonged freeze, and not only rejuvenated, but also started to actively multiply. It is important to acknowledge that the Japanese didn't select extremophiles for this purpose by mere chance. Microscopic organisms are defined by their destructive nature. Vision of resilience. The tardigrade stands as a remarkable testament to extraordinary resilience. What types of tests were they not exposed to? It is nearly undetectable to the eye. A creature measuring 1.5 millimeters. They found themselves enveloped in the embrace of liquid helium for a remarkable 8 hours. With a temperature of -171 degrees Celsius, immersed in frigid oxygen at -193 degrees Celsius for a continuous 20 hours, simmered in water for an hour, and they remain indifferent to everything. State of tranquil stillness. Tardigrades transform into near invincibility. Their metabolism halts at level 1. The full essence of the original. The creature withdraws its limbs, reveals itself to anhydrobiosis. When dried, it shrinks in size and becomes enveloped, shielding wax coating. Among a multitude of wonders, the water bear stands fearless in the face of radiation measuring 570,000 Roentgen. For reflection, a person faces the grave consequence of death when exposed to a mere 500 Roentgen. They can be confidently set free into the cosmos. Into 007, a collection of tardigrades embarked on a journey into Earth's orbit for a remarkable 10 days. Ultimately coming back, nearly all invertebrates thrived. The soul essence, what those echoes of joy from the second test could not withstand. Groups are celestial ultraviolet radiation. Established truth, when the moss is drenched, dried over a century ago, researchers unveiled their findings after a period of exploration. Water bears gathering around it. This is their cherished delight. Thus, 33-year pause for organisms that defy the passage of time. No tests. They could effortlessly establish themselves, even on Mars. And what of the other creatures? Were there any instances of deliberate freezing and the following melting of living beings? This unfolds within the framework. the utilization of cryopreservation techniques. And not only animals become subjects of freezing, yet there exists a remarkable similarity among people. Occurrences arise even in the absence of scientific intervention. Nature possesses a remarkable strategy for survival. For instance, a Salavatica injury, a notably sizable frog discovered in Canada and the northern regions of the United States, withdraws from the world for 3 months, fearlessly diving into a state of suspended animation. Her heart pauses, the creature ceases to draw breath, and the frog's body temperature descends to -6 degrees Celsius. But as soon as the right circumstances present themselves, this delightful scoop of croaking ice cream awakens once more and embarks on a quest for a companion to share in the dance of life. The process of natural anabiosis, essential for early Salavatic to thrive in the challenging Alaskan winters, when thermometers remain frozen at -54 for an extended period. But what empowers frogs to thrive after compelled departure? It appears this is made possible by the liver expanding significantly. She is the one who creates glycogen, subsequently converted into glucose, which consequently provides cells with the vitality they require. Besides, glycogen serves as a vital antifreeze within the animal's body. The Russian counterpart of the American snow maiden, Siberian in the gaze, able to endure multiple years of extreme freezing, another embodiment of vibrant spirits, embracing the chill. Next are dark fish. She thrives in the waters of Chukotka and Alaska, but as soon as winter arrives, then delves into the silt or crystallizes into the frost, and after thawing, the creature is reborn. But the resilience of extremophiles and the innate processes that ensure the survival of living being in the midst of extended frost, it is with good reason that biologists are captivated by. Humanity must awaken to the truth. Is it possible to breathe new life into those who passed away due to illnesses which were untreatable at the time of their departure? Science soars ahead. Thus it is not ruled out that the illness that once took your life, it is entirely feasible to overcome it after a decade. The inquiry revolves around how to maintain the body in a state of vitality. This is the moment when cryonics steps in to make a difference. Currently, several hundred individuals immersed in liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees Celsius. Their bodies are held within vessels. Diora, first ambassador of Homo sapiens, was preserved in 1967. 24 years later, the body of James Bedford, scholars of psychology, passed away from kidney cancer, moved to a different tank, and examined simultaneously his state. No evidence of decay was discovered. The technology encompasses an initial introduction beneath the surface of a lifeless body, bent guardian, summoned to alert, widespread cellular harm. This is truly a remarkable achievement, but the most vital element in this plan, the journey of rejuvenating the body. After all, humanity is not akin to a tardigrade, awakening into existence on its own. Counts that when the RX arrives, robots will take the stage. They will uncover cellular harm, will remove them and bring back the harmonious operation of the organ. The computer will oversee the process, linked from beyond. The revival could span several months, and then myriads of robots will exit the body through the respiratory system and the cardiovascular system, empowering strategy. Isn't that the challenge we face? What if something like this could truly happen? Then not before half a century has passed. In the meantime, the mission of scientists is to safeguard frozen bodies and thoughtful exploration of living beings that possess the remarkable ability to self-repair. Now, take a moment to envision that a cherished soul from your past has departed this world. Century of connections emerged vibrantly in the heart of the 21st century. Share your thoughts in the comments.